Don't.
So if we would be realistic about it, far better projects than this have failed. Far worthier, far better funded projects than this have absolutely vanished. Now, I'll just say a couple of words to you. They're not necessarily better, but they're better funded. You ever heard of a mob called Kodak?
Yep.
Now, what did they do this week?
I think they've gone into voluntary bankruptcy or
Filed Chapter 11 in America, bankruptcy. Yep. And they owned the market on what?
cameras.
Film.
Film, yeah.
They invented digital cameras. They invented them.
Didn't know that, but yeah.
Some of this stuff you only find out when we're talking about why did it fail. They invented digital cameras. And some smart cookie in Kodak said, we will not progress this project because it has the potential to take away sales of film. Now there's a genius for you. There's a mob that could have owned the digital camera world.
Yeah.
Because if in marketing, if you're first in, Pepsi will never catch Coke. You know why? Coke got in first. Now, this is kind of secondary to what we're talking about. It's just I want to illustrate to you something. Projects that have been far better funded and far better resourced than this project have sunk without a trace. Mm-hmm. So that's all just illustration to say we don't know how this thing's going to go.
Yep, that's a fair comment.
Therefore, it would be smart to not have your emotional well-being connected to it. Because if your emotional well-being is connected to the success of a project that you're doing, that project better succeed, or
I go under.
We are a victim, and the failure becomes me. When in fact, this could be a failure, this project could just fail. Got nothing to do with you. Got nothing to do with who you are. Because what you are is peace and love. And post-traumatic stress disorder took you away from the truth of your existence, which is peace and love.
Uh-huh. Yep.
That's what it did. I got taken away from peace and love, the truth of my existence, for other reasons or other circumstances, but we're both in the same spot. We got taken away from the truth of our existence, and our existence becomes shitty.
Yep.
Because we start hooking onto the outside. Oh, I'll get a Mercedes, I'll be happy then. Sure you've heard that, sure you've been there.
Yep.
I'll be happy when I get a Porsche. No, you won't. You'll be the same dickhead in a Porsche.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a kid, I'll be happy when I get a push bike. No, you won't. You'll be the same kid, but you'll be mobile. Spreading your misery faster. We don't change because that changes. That being anything external. The best you're going to get out of this is feeling good that you did something good.
Yep.
So let it go. Because it ain't going to fly while you're hanging on to it.
Okay.
So birth it. Have you got kids?
No.
Okay. Do you know anyone with kids?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
Parenting from day one is about teaching independence. So as soon as we give birth to them, we start teaching them how to
Disappear.
fly by themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Businesses are like families. And so you bring something into existence and you're going to have to nurture. I nearly swore then. You're going to have to nurture a lot of, you're going to have to, if you don't nurture it, it's not going to survive.
Uh-huh. Yep.
But there comes a point when
Let it fly.
it's got to fly because you're going to run out of nurturing and you're going to crash. And if it hasn't become independent, when you crash, so does it.
Yep. Yeah.
So it has to be a project, not part of you. We did counselling for the bushfires in Canberra. 350 people had their houses burned to the ground. I went and counselled one couple and they said, you know what, we'll never recover, Paul. I thought, oh, this would be interesting. I said, why is that? They said, we put our heart and soul in that house. I thought, you fucking idiot. What a place to put your heart and soul, in a building. Your heart and soul needs to be
In here.
and shared with a few others that have proven that they're not going to stomp all over it. We put our heart and soul in that house. I thought, how stupid can you get? This house is me. No, it ain't. It's a house.
Yep. Yep. I see exactly what you're saying.
So we built a very beautiful house, Mary and I, with our own bare hands. And people come in that house and they say, wow, you must be proud of it. And I think, pride, what a terrible thing. That's all about ego. I say, no, I'm not proud, but it's nice. And they say, but you must be. And I go, no, look, it's actually, this place is a bit useless at the moment because I've finished it. It was more use when I hadn't finished it because it was a project that I could get into. But we found that the people that we came to help us, we had to talk to them about how they helped us. Now, hands up if you've been on a building site. How would you describe that environment?
Open air asylum.
Open air asylum. A very accurate description. The language on a building site is horrendous. The warfare on a building site is just open and out there. We had to say to the people who had come to help us, the brickies, the plumbers, the electricians, stop. We've got a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old on this place. And you can't come here and do your work and behave like that. You're going to have to not swear. You are going to have to cooperate. You have to stop tearing the crap out of each other all day because I've got some kids who are listening. And after you're gone, they're still affected. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I said, you can work here, but you have to work how I tell you, or we'll get someone else to do it. But how you do it is important to me, more important than what you do, because you know what? I can find another bricklayer looks just like you, lay the bricks the same, but they'll behave. And I need them to behave because of the 3 and 5-year-old. Now, the house gets built. The problem with the house is I actually need to build another one. It's more exciting to build it than to have it. You will find the same. You have this website, it's making a shitload of money, it's helping a lot of people. It's more exciting to build it than to have it. You get a pile of money in the bank, big deal. You won't be lying there in bed going, oh, it's easier to fall asleep now. That doesn't happen.
Yep.
Got it?
Yep. I do.
Give it with love, give it with generosity, love it and let it fly.
Yep.
Now, did you understand what I said when I said that if you are concerned about what other people are saying about you, with a high level of success, what are other people criticising you for why you did this? And I said, there's a part of you must agree. Did that make sense, or did that just...
No, that made sense. Yeah.
Okay. So you got to make peace with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Goal number 1.
Now, it needs to be rock solid like this. I was talking to a client one time and he said, I can't stand my mother criticising me. She always drags me down. She's really negative. Whenever we get her, like I don't even like going there because when we get there, she starts in on dragging me down. And she says we shouldn't be making as much money as we're making, la la la. Good Christian families don't do that, la 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 la. I said, how long have you been a Christian? He said, all my life. I said, oh good. So how strong is your faith? And he said, strong. I said, so if I start telling you that Jesus never existed, what's going to be your response? He said, do your best, mate. Go your hardest. But you won't be changing my mind. That's where you need to be. So that when they do criticise you, because guess what? Someone will.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
When they do criticise you, you feel good enough about what you're doing for you to be able to say, thank you for your opinion, thanks for sharing. Now the texter mark on the wall. Have you heard about texter marks on the wall?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. And you'll be a very wealthy and very successful and very happy person when you've got a lot of texter marks on the wall.
Yep. Better get yourself a new wall.
Because otherwise what you've got to do is you have to change the behaviour of everybody out there. And make them all not criticise you. Or you can let them have a go.
Yep, you're entitled to your opinion. Thank you.
Well, you've got to get to that spot where
Yeah. I can say that. And
they're welcome to have their opinion.
yeah.
Now, how you get there is a matter of examining your feelings as this project evolves. It's a complex thing. There's a lot in that. What we just talked about, there's quite a few steps in it.
There are, yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Careful of that drug. Let the project fly. Understand it's got nothing to do with you. You're not a better person because of this thing, or a worse person if it doesn't fly, or any of that kind of stuff. And everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Can you do that?
absolutely. Yep. Great. Thanks, Paul.
Pleasure, mate.